Okay, so where we left off with the last video, we just decided that we were multiplying each side by 11. The opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply. When I do q times 11 and divide by 11, those two cancel each other out. So I'm left with just q equals, and on the other side, 11 times 3 is 33. Again, always going back, checking your answers. If I were to plug in a 33 for my q, 33 divided by 11 does in fact give me 3. So it checks out. All right, our next one's another division problem. We have n divided by -2. Again, always ask yourself, how is the number attached to your variable? It's attached by division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So to get rid of dividing by -2, we're going to multiply by a -2. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So multiplying and dividing by -2, those cancel out. It gives me 1. I'm left with just n on this side. When I do a negative times a negative, it is a positive, and 15 times 2 is 30. Again, always going back, checking those answers. If I plug in a 30 for my n, 30 divided by -2 is in fact -15, so it checks out. All right. So we could be using this information, how to solve our one-step equations, to help us solve word problems too. So a coupon subtracts $17.95 from the price P of a pair of headphones. You pay $71.80 for the headphones after using the coupon. Write and solve an equation to find the original price of the headphones. So go ahead and take a second, see if you can set up the equation. When you think you've got it, go ahead and unpause the video and then continue and check and see how you did. So a coupon subtracts $17.95 from the price of P. So P is how much they cost. We're subtracting $17.95 from it. The order of this subtraction does make a difference. We don't want to do the $17.95 minus the P. We're subtracting that $17.95 from the original price. It says you pay $71.80 for the headphones after using the coupon. So there's going to be our equation that we're going to solve. So then we just need to take a look at it and see what can I do. How is the $17.95 attached to the P? It's attached with subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add $17.95 to both sides. In this class, it's always okay to use a calculator unless I've specifically said you should be able to do these things without a calculator. So we know our $17.95 negative $17.95 plus our $17.95 cancels each other out. And then we just have to do that math on the other side. So when I do $71.80 plus $17.95, I get $89.75. It is a word problem. So for your final answer, you should have it labeled, which in this case, if we're talking about money, you need to make sure you have the dollar sign on it. All right. We have one more problem for chapter 1.1, solving our single-step equations. So for this last one, it says after a party, you have 2/5 of the brownies you made left over. There are 16 brownies left. How many brownies did you make for the party? So go ahead and pause the video, see if you can set up this equation. Once you've got it, check back in and see how you did. Okay, so after a party, you have 2/5 of the brownies you made left over. So 2/5 of is a key word here. Of, whenever you see of, that's a clue that you're going to be using multiplication. 2/5 of the brownies you made over. So if we made X represent how many brownies we made, we could have used the letter B. Doesn't really matter. Just some variable to represent how many brownies we made. So 2/5 of the brownies you have left over, and there are 16 left over. So 2/5 of however many we made is equal to 16. Now, how do we get rid of multiplying by a fraction? Well, we can multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal is a fancy word for flip-flopping the numerator and denominator. If I multiply 5/2 times 2/5, that ends up giving me 10/10, and I still have my x. 10/10 reduces to just 1. So by multiplying by the reciprocal, I have actually got my fraction to cancel out completely, and I'm left with just x. But don't forget, I have to multiply the other side by the exact same thing. So I need to multiply by 5/2 on the other side. When you're multiplying fractions, first of all, make sure they're both fractions. If they're not, make them a fraction. So 16 is the same thing as 16/1. And then I'm going to multiply by my 5/2. When you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the two numerators. Those are your top numbers together. So we're going to do 16 times 5. That'll give me my numerator. And then I multiply my two denominators together. 1 times 2 is 2. I always want to check and see if I can reduce it. 80 divided by 2 does come out to be a whole number, so I want to reduce that. That comes out to be 40. So we're not just going to say x is equal to 40. We're going to label it. We have 40 brownies. So solving our one-step equations, your summary, you're going to always look for how are the variables attached to the things on the same side of the equation. Undo anything that you need to move it to the other side. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Make sure at the end of these notes, you've taken a chance to write a summary in your own words. That helps you make sure that you understand the material before you're moving on. If there were any of these problems that you had questions on, make sure you are asking for help when you come to class tomorrow. If there's any of these that you'd like to see more examples of, also make a note of that in your notes so that you can come prepared to get the help that will best help you understand this material.